So this is the emulation station. It has about 5,000 games, pretty much all the NES games that were made, SNES, Game Boy. So has the original Pokemon games you can actually play on your TV, which is much better. Even on here. So you can actually go back and scroll through the systems, or you can click on the system and scroll through the same way, and it'll actually go through this way. It has a lot of different systems on it. DS, a lot of Sega games. You even got some PlayStation, PSP, some game systems a lot of people haven't even heard of. Still got some fun games on them. So let's say you go into a game. Launch Mario, very popular. Now I'm using, with Bluetooth, a PS4 controller. So the PS4 controller, is Bluetooth. Now you can connect, like it comes with controllers. Now you can connect those via USB. You can even connect, like I have an Xbox Elite controller here. You can use a cable with that, connect it there, and it works automatically. It's really cool. Alright, obviously I can't really play too well one-handed. Oh, not at all actually. Hit the wrong button, that was terrible. There's the jump button, but they play pretty much the same. And to get back out of the game, you just hit start and select at the same time, and it takes you back to the main menu. Now this works for most games, it doesn't work for all games. I know like on Mario Kart on 64 it doesn't work. It's because it has a start and select option for it, so it just doesn't work for that. In that case, you just turn the system off and back on. I think there's actually a way you can set the keys. It actually, has a menu to set the key, like the keypads up for, controls for whatever you want. Because not all game systems use the same type of controller. 64 controllers were much different than an NES controller. There's a lot more buttons to it as well. Some games require that you use a controller with joysticks. Or for instance, I can use this to play Mario Kart, but playing Mario Kart with an NES Classic controller, which this system does come with, would be not possible. It doesn't have a joystick. So, but if you have an Xbox or PlayStation, doesn't even have to be the newest ones, you can actually use your controllers on this system and play with those as well. So that's pretty cool. Now I'm going to go ahead and switch this over to the 64 gig model, because this is the 32, and show you the difference. So here's the 64 gig. I'm using my Elite controller to control this one. This one has a little bit more art, and it shows you the system, that you're going to be playing. Just got a little bit more to it. A little bit more systems. It has I know it has the classic Atari games and whatnot. Still shows you how many games are in each system. A lot of systems on here that I've never even heard of, but it's really cool to see how some of these actually used to look. Atari. Getting to the old Atari there. So it even has, they have an SNES Classic and a NES Classic you can buy at, like Walmart or game places. They only have, so this one has 21 games, and the NES Classic only has 30 games, yet they're like $60 a piece. So this has those, but even those games are also in the the system for. So if we go back up to Nintendo, 989 games. So this not only includes all the original NES games made, but it also includes the hacks. So like stuff that wasn't even here in the US. So this has a little bit more, 64 games on it, for instance. Mario Kart. One of the best. Love playing that. So yeah, so this one has a little bit more games on it. This one's like 6,000 something. So you do get like 1,500 more games, I want to say. 6,546. And actually that last system isn't quite 5,000. It was, but it had some really weird systems that we took off that weren't even. So anyways, that one's actually down to like 4,000. So this one has a couple thousand more games. But just to show you an actual game, I'm gonna play Mario Kart. Well, that's really loud. Turn that down some. Now 64, PlayStation, these newer systems, like the NES, obviously not a big deal, but these newer ones, they don't play perfectly on this 1.2 gigahertz, 1 gig RAM computer, because that's what is playing these, is pretty much a mini computer. So it does play pretty well. I mean, I can't really play with one hand. This is really terrible. Trying to like moving the phone when I play, but as you can see, so this is the system. It's a 1.2 gigahertz, 1 gig RAM mini computer with 4 USB ports, so you can play 4 players if the game supports it. Obviously, a lot of the old classics didn't, but some of the 64 games and whatnot do. HDMI, obviously that's what it was connected to on my TV. Has built-in Wi-Fi. You can plug in Ethernet though. Has Bluetooth. Obviously, I was using a PS4 controller. Comes with the HDMI, the power supply, 2 SNES Classics, 2 NES Classics with 2 USB extensions. So, just in case you want to sit back further away from the TV, you can. This is a media remote. If you decide to actually use Kodi or Pixel OS on the mini computer, you can do that. You can actually plug a USB or keyboard and mouse into it and operate it that way for the actual like Pixel OS operating system. But otherwise, it's plug and play for video games right now. You can just use it as a gaming station. The 32 gig model that I showed you in the first for the first one was $200, and then the 64 gig upgraded model is $250. The 32 gig comes with 2 controllers, which are the SNES controllers, and then the 64 gig, that costs $250, comes with the extra 2 NES controllers. I will soon have a 256 gig upgraded version of this. It's a 2 gigahertz, 2 gig RAM version that will have a lot more games. It'll have all of the N64 games ever made, including some that weren't even released here in the US, so it'll have 303 N64 games. It'll have more PS1 games, and it will play them way smoother because it's, it's a better computer. So that option will be available soon. I'll let you know when that is. Otherwise, take care.